Hi, I'm Doug here at Global West. What I'd like to do today is talk to you about a tool that we manufacture for installing frame shackle bushings in 64 through 73 Mustangs. Now on the table right here, we have the Del-a-lum shackle bushing system for the Mustang, which covers front eyelets, rear leaf spring bushing, and the frame bushing. And a lot of clients ask us, how do you install this frame bushing in the Mustang? You know, how do you get it in there? Because this presses into your frame. Well, we have a tool here that's a TSH-200 that allows us to make this job, putting this bushing in the frame, much easier. We have a 1966 Mustang in the back. We're going to be installing our shackle system and bushing kit in. And let us take a minute and we'll show you how this tool works. Let's go do it. Okay, as you can see, we've got the leaf spring out of the way on this Mustang, and this happens to be a 66, but the installation that we're going to do showing how to install the bushing in the frame actually is from 64 all the way through 73 Mustang, and not to mention it also will work on other Ford applications. So we've already got the shackle out of the way, the factory shackle. We've got the leaf spring out of the way, and as you can see right up in here, this is where the shackle bushing normally is, and we're going to install our Del-a-lum bushing. This particular bushing has a large hole in it, and we've already taken the liberty to drill. You'll see a hole right here, okay? And in the instructions to install the shackle kit, we tell you to drill a hole for the grease fitting. It's a number 3 drill bit, or 210 thousandths, and you drill and tap it for a grease zerk. And then our bushing here has a large hole, and you're going to line that up, and so that when you press this thing in, it's going to line up with the hole that you just drilled. And we want to make sure that that hole is pointed forward. In the instructions, we tell you to go on this particular side of the car, which happens to be the passenger side, you're going to be at, if you had a clock, this would be at 5. And if you go to the other side, you know, you would be looking at a 7 position. So it's pointed slightly forward. And the reason why we do that rather than going straight down is that so when the car is on the ground, the grease zerk is pointed forward so you can get your grease gun onto it. If it's going straight down, you'll have an interference with the shackle. So that's why we point it forward. One of the things we've done now on the frame, since we got all this apart, I've already, like I said, taken the opportunity to pre-drill this and tap it. We want to make sure also that you take a little bit of sandpaper and you go inside here and you clean all the rust and debris that's in here. You don't want anything in here contaminating this hole when you go to press the bushing in. If you leave rust in there, what'll happen is it'll hamper the bushing being pressed into the frame, and you may have a real hard time getting it in. So make sure, a little sandpaper, clean this out, get it ready to go, wipe it out. And then on pre-installation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of grease, and we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of grease in here to help us out, okay? Just a little bit, okay? That's for pressing it in. The next thing what I'll do is I'll go ahead, and sometimes you can eyeball this, or you can do a felt tip, but you want to line the hole up with the hole you pre-drilled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the grease fitting in here, so you can actually see it a little easier. Let me go ahead and do that. Okay, so I've got that in there, so now you can see that. Now when I go to press the bushing in, what I want to do is I want to position this bushing so that the large diameter hole is in line with the grease fitting. One trick I'll do is I'll take and I'll draw a line on this with a felt tip so it's easier to line up. Okay, you can see the line there. See how I've got the line on the bushing from center line over to the grease fitting? So now that this is lined up, that's how I want to push it in. Now we're going to use our tool. So we're going to take our tool, and you can see the threaded rod here, that screws in to this threaded bun, okay? So we're just put it in a little bit. You're going to stuff it up in here from this side, and it's going to go all the way through, okay? And on this side, we're going to take the aluminum washer on first, that steel washer, and then you're going to put the nut on. And you're going to thread that on there. So you can see that now I've got the tool in place. I've got the nut started on the threaded rod. And with a 3/4 inch wrench now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrench that in. I'm going to pull it in until it stops and gets my threaded bun on the other side, because that threaded bun is inside that hole. So let's go ahead and do that. And once I get it so it bottoms out, then we're going to undo it a little bit. We're going to flip the threaded bun around and finish pulling it in. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, at this point, we've bottomed out on the threaded bun here, okay? So now what we do is we're going to back it off. Okay, we're going to loosen this up. We're going to unscrew this, and we're going to flip this over. This bushing has to be flush in the frame. So by doing it this way, okay, now we'll run some more of this out so we can capture it, capture the threads, like so. Flip this over. Okay, get it up inside there. Now we're going to finish it off. The bushing must be flush in the frame, so we're just going to run it down again until it bottoms out. Okay, it just bottomed out. So that bushing now is flush inside the frame. So then what we're going to do is just unscrew everything and take it apart. Take it out. Like that. You see the bushing? Nice and flush. Our hole lines up with the grease fitting opening here with the grease zerk, so it can be lubricated. This side is in. Now we just got to go to the other side and do the same thing. The other side is going to be a little bit different because it's closer to the gas tank, but the concept is the same. And you'll be able to install this without the same amount of procedure as this, just as easy. All right, so now you've got a good idea how this particular tool works in installing the frame bushing in the Mustang frame. As you can see, it's pretty straightforward. So the part number on this, again, is a TSH-200. It'll make your life installing the frame bushing much easier. It's available online, or give us a call, TSH-200.